Good evening and welcome to Stradbrook for this eagerly anticipated Women's Energia All-Ireland League semi-final. Unbeaten Blackrock, 8 wins from 8, face a rejuvenated UL Bohemian side who have won 5 of their last 6 games to reach the semi-finals. That game kicks off at 5 p.m. We'll have live commentary and analysis to come from Eimear Considine. We'll also have updates from today's second semi-final between reigning champions Railway Union and Old Belvedere, along with Ballincollig facing Wicklow in the conference semi-final, and Galwegians who face Suttonians. We now head back to Limerick, where Ross O'Donoghue will bring us through all 24 2:30 p.m. kickoffs in round 8 of the Men's Energia All-Ireland League.
Thank you, Daragh. 23 results already taking place today to run you through. We'll start with Energia All-Ireland League Men's Division 1A. So 4 games to take you through there. Shannon versus Young Munster is a 5 o'clock kickoff from Thomond Park. Clontarf back to winning ways with a 29-22 win away to Cork Constitution. Ballynahinch going well. They won 28-10 at Garryowen and Duradoyle. Terenure College remain unbeaten, but it was a tight one, 23-21 they came through against Dublin University. Lansdowne will move ahead of UCD, UCD will move ahead of Lansdowne in the table after their 27-26 win at the Bowl. Moving to Men's Division 1B. 5 o'clock kickoff here too. Old Wesley versus St Mary's College. But Buccaneers 44, Banbridge 13, City of Armagh 38, Naas 27, Highfield 29, UCC 10, Old Belvedere 29, Malone 13. Moving now to AIL Men's Division 2A. So, Queen's University Cashel, the highest scoring game of the day there. Queen's coming out by 38 points to 31. Barnhall in the early kickoff, beating Dolphin 34 points to 19. Leaders Blackrock College still leaders here, a 17 points to 14 win over Nino Ormond. Navan nailed UL Bohemian on a 15-0 scoreline. And Old Crescent, another Limerick winner today, winning at home to Ballymena by 32 points to 14. Moving now to AIL Men's Division 2B. Dungannon 21, Sligo 28. Enniscorthy 18, Rennie Old Boys 19. Galway Corinthians 54, Belfast Harlequins 14. Malahide 7, Greystones 35. And a draw between Wanderers and Galwegians. And that is Division 2B. We'll move you through into AIL Men's Division 2C. Ballina winners at home against Omagh Academicals 24-17. Bangor 15, Tullamore 23. Bruff 28, Clonmel 30. Instonians 47, Middleton 13. And Sundays well 24, Skerries 21. That's all the men's division results for today. Obviously the 4 big games in the All-Ireland League women's division for today. We are at Stradbrook, coming to you live for one of 2 semi-finals taking place today. That's Blackrock College versus UL Bohemian. Down the road in Sandymount, it's Railway Union up against Old Belvedere. That's also a 5 o'clock kickoff. And then in the AIL Women's Division Conference semi-finals, Wicklow are at home to Ballincollig and Galwegians are at home to Suttonians in Frawley Park. That's all for the updates. It's back to Stradbrook now to Eimear Considine, and first, Daragh Frawley.
A very good evening and welcome back to Stradbrook for this Energia All-Ireland League Women's semi-final between UL Bohemians and Blackrock. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Eimear Considine. Eimear, perfect conditions for tonight's game, and you have no shortage of experience in big games. What are the players going to be feeling at the moment?
Yeah, it's a perfect night. There's not a breeze. The flags aren't moving at all here, so absolutely no advantage to either team. I think excitement. It's a semi-final. They've had a long few weeks of games and now it's finally crunch time. You know, it's knockout rugby at this stage. and it doesn't really matter what happened up until this point. It doesn't matter how many wins, how many losses each team have, because ultimately it's the result today that really, really matters in the end.
We've seen the teams ahead of us warming up, and you've spoken to them, a couple of them before the game. You say that league form really counts for nothing, but will there be anything in the back of the players' minds about when they met earlier on in the league?
I don't really think you can regard that game. It was very different. Both teams were very, very different, and there's a lot of changes made to both teams through injuries, with girls back, girls away. Like even that Blackrock team, since they played Bows, you could say they're stronger in some places, but they've lost other girls to the Sevens tournament. Bows had quite a few injuries at the start of the season, on top of a really tough few start games, whereas Bows have really come into this game with 5 out of 6 wins. The team, they haven't won 10 or so more AILs for nothing. There's history steeped down there in Bows, and Blackrock will have to bring their absolute A game, especially given that they're missing. I suppose they're probably lacking a bit of cohesiveness with girls in and out. There's obviously those 3 players from away with the Sevens that would impact their backline. They're also missing Natasha Behan, who starred over in Japan this year with an injury. So that's 4 out of their backline. But also you're bringing in the likes of Maeve Ogue, Dorothy's on the bench, Hannah O'Connor. They haven't played a lot of club rugby. I suppose they're fantastic players, but if you're looking at the way the team has gelled, I suppose that's the thing too that you need to look at, that are they up to scratch with everything that comes with playing games at the end of the day.
And you mentioned there, obviously, a lot of players, it's going to have taken their toll going 8 weeks in a row, week off, and then a semi-final. In terms of gelling and that cohesiveness, you having played with Ireland, perhaps maybe even some more than you did with UL Bows last year, how difficult is it for somebody of that calibre coming back in to get used to systems and even fitness at this level?
I don't think, talking to any of those individuals, they're even looking at Nicole and Chloe on the Bows team, you've got Hannah, Dorothy, Maeve Ogue coming back in, even Anna Doyle injured. The focus has been on club and club alone, which is, I suppose, the difference in other years. It's a lot of focus on international, be it Novembers or be it summer tours, even Six Nations prep, and you're not entirely focused in on the club regime, whereas the last 9-10 weeks have been solely focused on club. And those girls have to be training week in, week out. So I don't see an issue, to be honest, on either side with fitness. I know obviously Maeve Ogue and Dorothy are part of the international setup at the moment and would have been looked at quite closely with the S&C and physios and inside in Ireland. So fitness-wise, strength-wise, I think no issue there. And even with the systems, club is their main focus at the moment. So I think it's just more the game time. It's the lack of game time. The systems you'll know, the structures you'll know. It's just actually minutes on the field, and that's the difference.
We will go to the teams now. Blackrock College line out as follows. Maeve Deely at full back, Maeve Liston and Ella Durkin make up the back 3. Michelle Claffey captains from outside centre. Her partner today is Jackie Shields. Enya Breen and Tatum Bird make up the half back pairings. Aoife Moore, Beth Cregan and Laura Feely are the front rows, with Eimear Corrie and Mairead Hulahan packing down in the second rows. Alison Coleman, Maeve Ogue O'Leary and Hannah O'Connor make up a formidable back row. The bench are from Emma Hooban, Shannon Heaps, Niamh Tester, Ava Fannin, Dorothy Wall, Lisa Mullen, Ciara Scanlon and Anna Doyle. The coach is Ben Martin. Eimear, if we focus on Blackrock for a few moments time, we were speaking pre-game about where Blackrock's power comes from. You want to particularly focus on one person in general, and that's Hannah O'Connor in the back row. What is she going to bring to the game today?
Hannah, she's obviously was injured for the earlier start of the season, so came back and hasn't played too many minutes in the early stages of the league. But again, that 8 position is a very competitive position across the country, and she'll be looking to prove a point there, along with Chloe Pearce on the other side facing her. It's going to be an absolute battle. Like I said, the battle of the 8s. At the end of the day, everyone's looking for that starting position when it comes to international duty, starting, and it's a competitive row, not just in Blackrock but across the country. But Hannah, she's not on kicking duties at the moment. Maeve Deely is usually on kicking duties, but Hannah has that ability to take those long range kicks, to throw in a kick randomly inside the 22. She's a leader there in the field with the lineouts, and will absolutely be one to look at tonight for the Blackrock team.
UL Bows line out as follows. Clara Barrett at 15, Alana McInerney and Laura O'Mahony are her two wingers. Brianna Haleman is at outside centre with Kate Flannery on her inside. Nicole Cronin and Myrna Wall make up the halfbacks for UL Bows. The pack line out as follows. Fiona Reedy, Kate Sheehan and Eilish Cahill are the front row. Claire Bennett and Eva McCormack form a formidable partnership in the second row with Ciara Farrell, Clodagh O'Halloran and the returning Chloe Pearce at 8 as captain for UL Bows. The bench is from Ciara Dwyer, Gina Behan, Nicole Sweeney, Sarah Garrett and Lily Brady. Abby Salter Townsend, Rachel Allen and Eva O'Flynn make up the replacements. Coach Niamh Briggs said during the week, Eimear, that they were in bonus territory. Do you think that's a little bit of mind games from Miss Briggs, or do you feel that this UL Bows side can really cause an upset here today against Blackrock?
Like, maybe it's mind games. I think they can. People have written Bows off all season. You know, coming a few weeks ago, people were chatting about the likes of Wicklow and Galwegians and Suttonians getting that 4th place. So I suppose you have to close all that off and focus on what we're doing. And maybe it is mind games against the Rock girls. They're keeping them waiting there with their little team huddle. But I think we have to focus on, Bows are focusing on themselves. And like she said, she's focusing on the process. She's really important. She's focusing on that process. And if they do the basic stuff right, I know it's cliche, but it does take care of itself, and they'll be looking at this first 40 minutes to make a statement, and a good start is really, really important for their confidence. And
as we look across to the huddle with UL Bows there, whether it is mind games or not, you get a real sense from speaking to both Ben and Niamh that both these sides are on journeys. Blackrock maybe a little bit further down the road in their journey in terms of experience. But what are the kind of final things that would be said in that huddle before we head off for kick-off?
I suppose the thing is there's plenty of high-quality players, and it's just to have the confidence on a day like today. Today is the day you want to show off your skills. You want to show off your tackles. You want to make those big hits. You want to show everyone that there's rugby outside of the top 3 in Dublin, and that's what the Bows girls will be going to prove a point today. They'll come into this game with confidence from the last 5 games, having had some good wins, good performances, and some cohesiveness together as a team. So I suppose it's just coming in, from the start, starting with a good, confident hit, doing the right things, simple things, with the leaders and those younger girls, and bringing everyone through, and hopefully a good start.
As the teams take their place, Blackrock, some players doing jumping jacks to stay warm. The temperature has dropped considerably here in Blackrock, but a beautifully still evening in Stradbrook for this Women's Energia All-Ireland League semi-final. Nicole Cronin gets the game underway. It's a long kick to the right-hand side. Well gathered on the Blackrock side and a good carry. Maeve Liston there. Blackrock intent on playing inside their own half. Reid to Breen. It's a good carry there by O'Connor. UL Bows staying disciplined here, and Blackrock decide to use the boot, and the ball has gone over the head of Clara Barrett. She's got support from Captain Pearce, whether she intends to use her. She skips her and she goes out to Myrna Wall, the scrum half, very elusive in the contact there. Bows with no half back, but take a carry off 9 from Claire Bennett. She's been excellent all season and central to Bows getting into the semi-final. Cronin again to Sheehan, lovely little offload there to Eilish Cahill, hugely abrasive in the contact. Cahill has been all season. Cronin again receives the ball from Wall, and it's Haleman, hugely physical centre for UL Bows. A number of appearances off the bench, gets an opportunity today. Barrett, nice little bit of footwork here. Blackrock staying very, very disciplined and not going after the ruck. And it's McCormack again with a good carry. Bows slowly but surely making yards over this gain line. One for the purists so far. And it's Reedy with another great carry again. Bows just about inside the Blackrock half.
What's really interesting here is Kate is stepping up into first receiver. Kate Flannery has stepped up a couple of times there, allowing attack for Bows on both sides of the field, which is really interesting. But obviously she's played in that 10 position and well used to it. Here we have Chloe Pearce on the ball, walking over people.
Niamh Briggs blueprint all over that. Eimear Considine with a little sneak preview in there. Bows playing with 2 receivers, but Cronin again. Bows very elusive. Cronin elects to use the trusty right boot, well covered by Maeve Liston on that left touchline. And Blackrock now in possession of the ball on the 10 metre line. A little bit static. They will probably look to move this ball. Bows quite narrow in defence at the moment. Enya Breen telling her half-back partner to go to the other side. Potential 50-22 on here. It's bounced and the ball has stayed in play on that side. And the ball is still in play. A little bit of kick tennis. The ball is in the hands of Cronin. She's decided to have a little gallop.
Looks like she's been taken out of that after the ball is gone as well. I wonder will the referee go back and look at that.
And we're going to have the first line out of the game here after 2.5 minutes in Stradbrook. Eimear, what do you make of the opening exchanges?
Yeah, it's been pretty scrappy on both sides so far. Neither team want to take some risks. It's been pretty basic. It's been carried up, get some meters, get the, like I said, the simple things right, the basic stuff right at the start. No mistakes, good rugby so far. It's been pretty decent. Both teams looking to play a bit of territory with Eimear kicking there. We also had Jackie Shields take a kick. So again, lots of people stepping up into that first receiver role.
Beth Cregan has the ball in her hands as Blackrock have a 5-man line out here. Walking in. Hannah O'Connor in the middle, Mairead Hoolan to the tail. As we said, not a puff of wind here this evening in Stradbrook. And they elect to go to 2. And it's not straight. And you really see the UL Bows bench there, Eimear, clapping and getting into the game. They want to get into Blackrock early, and that's a mistake from Blackrock and UL Bows with their first potential chance at a starter play.
Yeah, like I said, the good start is important. It's a really, really important for any team, but that's a confidence booster for Bows, but also, it really gets into the heads of they'll second guess that line out again. Hannah O'Connor would seem to be the main jumper there, main caller. They'll be keeping an eye on her as well, so clearly putting pressure on the thrower and the jumper to force an unstraight line out.
First scrum of the game, you're normally used to being in the backfield, so we'll come to you from analysis in a few moments' time. Myrna Wall gets ready to feed the ball into the scrum, and it's a very good scrum from UL Bows, Reedy, Cal and Sheehan, and it looks as if the arm is going to go out, but the referee says they will reset the scrum there, but a very, very good start from UL Bows there. It looked, for all intents and purposes, it would be a penalty for UL Bows. Eimear, as we said, in your full back position, or possibly in the back three, scrums aren't your forte.
Speaking from my full back position, I'm never usually looking at what's going on. I'm usually looking at what's next, trying to anticipate where it might go and cover all that pace. But Fiona Reedy has so much experience there in that scrum, along with Kate Sheehan and Eilish Cahill. Eilish Cahill is kind of up and coming new Clare girl coming in there and has really slotted in well. But to have the guidance of those two with you, it's fantastic. Cahill
has been excellent all season for UL Bows as Wall gets ready to feed the scrum again, and this time it is surely going to be a penalty to UL Bows if they elect for it, and it is a penalty to UL Bows, a real statement of intent early on, 5 minutes in Stradbrook, and the home support are stunned into silence after that set piece, Eimear.
Yeah, you'd imagine now with the strong set piece that Bows have that they'll kick to the corner, go for a simple Nicole will make touch and they'll hopefully maul it over. It's been a strength of Bows and their set piece, especially against the Tonians. We saw just how strong they were. So let's hope they can. That's a good start. That's a penalty won in the scrum. That's a crooked line out. Blackrock will be sweating at the start.
Nicole Cronin with her trusty right boot finds touch. I make that about 8 metres from the Blackrock line. They elect to go with a full man line out. Sheehan finds her jumper. It's scrappy. Claude O'Halloran in the back row, as all good back rows do, sweeping up at the front, but the flag has gone up. And the referee says that it's either a tackle off the ball or that the ball was taken in the air. But Chloe Pearce out for the last 6 weeks, but very eager to take a quick tap there. But they elect for the corner again.
Yeah, Blackrock seem to have got a hand on that last line out there. I suppose we want to tidy that up a little bit going forward.
Big moments early on in this Women's Energia All-Ireland League semi-final, powered by Energia. Bows again elect for the full man line-out. It is Eva McCormack standing at 2, Claire Bennett at 4, and the ball is overthrown. It's messy. The referee has given advantage to Blackrock, and Hannah O'Connor with a superb carry. The captain cleaning up. Tatum Reid and Breen finds the safety of touch there. For our weather updates, Eimear, does seem to be a slight breeze, if at all possible, but a good clearance kick there from Blackrock.
Yeah, it looks like Bowes might have any bit of a wind that is there in the first half, but it's a get out of jail card there from Blackrock. But you need to be, when you're in 22, you need to be making most of anything anytime you get into the 22, you don't want to come away without something, whether it's penalty, points, or even a try, and that'll be a disappointing start for Bowes.
Sheehan gets ready again to throw into the line out. Pearce on the ball. Pearce and O'Connor going toe to toe, and you can see why she's so valuable to this UL Bowes side. It's a lovely little line there from Eva McCormack for UL Bowes, and they're getting over it again and again. The ball is in the hands of Cronin. She goes out the back. Alana McInerney with a great carry there. UL Bowes nestling into the game in the 22. Reedy with a great carry again, but well marshalled by the back row, Maeve O'Leary. Pearce, again, another good carry. Hannah O'Connor is her shadow so far in the game. And Blackrock win. That's 2 visits to the 22. Eimear Considine, and UL Bowes would be frustrated not to come away with anything.
Yeah, even that carry there, you can't go on your own. Like, that's the thing. When it gets to that, you need to be patient, wait for support. And a good turnover there by Blackrock. A really crucial turnover here. That's twice, like you said, they've got into their 22, and twice they've come away. Blackrock this time with the penalty and a kick from Enya Breen. Frustrating for Bowes. They need to keep the head up, keep patient. So far they've been good, they've been patient, they've kept the ball, they're not trying anything drastic, but like I said, they need to capitalise any time that they get into that 22. They seem to be struggling at the line out. That's twice Blackrock have got up and disrupted it, so maybe they'll have to have a chat about that coming in here into this defensive line out.
Yeah, Beth Cregan with the ball. It is interesting, as you pointed out, Eimear, that Bowes have elected to go with 2 full-man lineouts. They were playing more enterprising running rugby, but they obviously have seen that power may be. But Blackrock with a 6-man lineout. Hannah O'Connor making the call. A little bit of trick movements, and it's a great lineout by Blackrock. Advantage, fine line between a sack there. Breen moves the ball out, and it's lovely hands. It's just knocked on though, is it? But we will come back over for a penalty for Blackrock there, after UL Bowes were judged to have illegally taken down the maul.
Yeah, even if they managed to get that past a hand there, they were very lucky that Bowes seemed to be very narrow in defence. They need to, I suppose, get better spacings in defence and not leave Clara under so much pressure in the fullback having to join so early. But again, that's 2 penalties in a row, and Enya Breen making her way down the field with these penalties. She's
found a very good touch there, and for people of my eyesight, we're delighted to have a line out directly in front of us here. It's fair to say Eimear Bowes cannot lament on the 2 missed opportunities in the 22, but Blackrock really showing why they finished top of the table. Resolute defence, very solid set piece so far, and this is realistically the first opportunity they have at launching an attack against Bowes as Beth Cregan gets ready to throw the ball into the line-out.
Yeah, I think what's important is their patience in defence. We saw them in opportunities leaving the ruck, and other times they saw availability and went for it.
The ball looks to have been knocked on by Blackrock. No signal from the referee, but well cleaned up by Bowes second row, Eva McCormack. Cronin has the ball again in the hands of Kate Flannery, and it's moved out towards the wing, and the ball is now in the hands of Barrett. Bowes over the halfway line. Both sides intent on playing enterprising rugby, and why not with the conditions we have. Lovely soft hands from Kate Sheehan to her front row partner Fiona Reedy. Ball not as quick as Wall wants it, and it's picked up again by Blackrock, and a wonderful breakthrough by second row Emer Corrie there. Bird with the feed to Breen. Breen moves it on. Cregan met well there by Ciara Farrell in the Bowes back row. Good carry again, good footwork and contact. Blackrock ball very fast from the back. Breen with the skip pass out to Maeve Liston. Marshalled well by Laura O'Mahony and Myrna Wall. 5 metres in from the touchline. Blackrock looking to move the ball here. UL Bowes doing their best to slow the ball, but Tatum Bird doing very well, and Blackrock slinging the pass out here. You wouldn't believe it's December. Blackrock making very good inroads there. That is Maeve Liston on the left-hand side touchline.
Ball slows down, an opportunity for Bowes to set up the defence, but Blackrock with pads outside Breen. She decides to skip in behind them. Claffey throws a lovely little pass to Alison Coleman. She's got through a good bit of work in the first 12 minutes of the game. The ball is now in the hands of Maeve Liston again off that touchline, well marshalled by opposite number Laura O'Mahony. Bird again with very good delivery off the base. Hannah O'Connor, you can see the fend slowly making yards there, but the referee has stayed consistent with her calls, and she's called Blackrock off their feet. A little glimmer into what Blackrock can do, Eimear.
Yeah, do you know what? It's just a simple things. They've moved the ball from the far wing over in front of the subs to this wing here with some strong carries. You can see the forwards. I know that was unfortunate there. They went off their feet, but they're working in their pods. There's lots of support. They're securing that ruck. They're just really doing the simple things correct. They've had Jackie Shields in the pocket and behind to get, behind those forwards to spread the ball wise. They're using, the forwards, interlinking the forwards with the backs. We saw a pull back pass from Laura Feely there a while ago just to give it back to Jackie Shields to manage to get that ball. So it's not just front door rugby, which is, I suppose, difficult to defend as well. And difficult with Bowes. They looked like they were stretched in defence there, but they managed to scramble. And really, we're lucky there in that instance there, because metre after metre, Blackrock were gaining it, and I think if they had continued on, without any mistakes, they were gaining yards all the time.
We can see Jackie Shields giving some constructive criticism as well as Beth Cregan is inside, but the point I want to talk to you about is Nicole Cronin and Enya Breen are two outstanding out-halves. Nicole Cronin by trade is normally a 9, but both sides really trying to throw the ball about, which will hopefully make for an inside game. Yeah,
you're almost playing with... There's almost 4 or 5 playmakers in every team there. You've got Nicole Cronin, a usual 9, playing with Morna, they have a lot of experience playing with each other from last year's competition with the Interpros last year, with obviously the league this year. You've got Kate Flannery, he's a usual 10 stepping up as well. You've got Jackie Shields stepping up on the other side with Blackrock, along with Enya Breen. And it's just creating a lot more of expansive rugby and free-flowing rugby. It's exciting to watch so far. And even though there's no scores on the board, it's been close, which is great. Exciting
as long as you're not a front 5 forward. Eimear, you have to think of the rest of us. After 14 and a half minutes, it is still scoreless here as Kate Sheehan gets ready to throw in just short of the halfway line. It's scrappy and Wall has it. Lovely little pass to Cronin. Cronin moves it on to Pearce, and it's just going to be a carry here. And again, wonderful carry from Captain Pearce. And there's advantage here. Another great close-in carry by Eilish Cahill. But we will come back for the penalty. The set piece not as fluid as it has been in the last number of games. Messy ball for UL Bowes. That would be a bit of a concern early on.
It is, and they tried to go to the front there, and still Blackrock read it well. It's just not clean. It's not easy then for the 9. Morna did very well to get the ball away to Nicole with the scrappy, unclean ball from that line out. But that definitely is something that I imagine Chloe and Kate will have a chat about very soon.
They must have heard us talking about the set piece, because in the interim Nicole Cronin's quick tap was turned over by Hannah O'Connor in the back row for Blackrock, and the ball, there was an opportunity there, but the ball goes to ground, and it is Ella Durkin on this side. It's Maeve Liston on this side. Cregan, great little feed and a lovely little offload from Cregan there to Maeve O'Leary, like all good back rows, on the shoulder. O'Connor elects to pass here. Blackrock trying to get the ball wide at every opportunity, flinging those passes. And a little bit panicked. Wonderful block down on that side from Alana McInerney. Blackrock again still make yards on the way through, and their breakdown has been extremely impressive since the chat from Cregan. Wonderful shot there from Brianna Haleman. Difficult to get your breath at the moment. The ball is touched, so everyone's onside there. Laura O'Mahony does very well, gets down on it, but it's picked very well by Maeve O'Leary, one of the best in the business on the ground there.
Yeah, Maeve is a demon at the breakdown. You want to avoid going anywhere around her when you're being tackled, or when you're on the opposing team from Maeve. It's one of her strengths.
Maeve Liston getting through a good bit of work on this side, and Maeve O'Leary again with a lovely little offload. The referee is going to have a quick chat here for what looked like a seatbelt tackle there, but it's very obvious at the moment, Eimear, that Blackrock are intent on getting to one touchline and potentially getting to another touchline to spread that Bowes defence.
Yeah, like I said, you've mentioned the wingers so often in your commentary there. It's just they're managing to get the ball into those wingers' hands. They're spreading it out. That last time we saw even Hannah O'Connor hanging out there in the sidelines and getting the ball out wide. Couple of block downs, couple of bit of scrappy play there on both sides of it. But like I said, Maeve Og managed to get that turnover again to seal the ball back for Blackrock, and that's something of a back row. Looking at any good back row, that's a trait that you need in there to be a menace at the breakdown. But like I said, Rock are choosing when to go in it, and then it's very difficult to play against because they often have 15 on their feet when they're leaving the breakdown. So it's their decision making which is good in defence so far, and their patience.
A game of chess, if you will, as Beth Cregan gets ready to throw the ball in for Blackrock. O'Connor takes the call on herself, goes off the top. The hands is with Enya Breen. It's a good carry there by Shields as they make gain line on the first carry. Bird again to O'Connor. She's been everywhere. And it's Kate Sheehan using all her experience with UL Bows. She must have heard you, Eimear, saying Maeve O'Leary is a demon on the ground. Anything that she can do anything better. And UL Bows do carry the ball. Chloe Pearce again with a wonderful carry. The ball is in the hands of Cronin. Good footwork has allowed her. And it's McInerney, a wonderful carry again. And all of a sudden, UL Bows were making inroads, but it will be a line out to Blackrock, 10 metres inside their own half.
What's interesting to note there is that they went for the quick tap again. That's twice. So they're obviously realising that the set piece isn't going to plan. But it's difficult then when you have to keep carrying that. That's a hard game to play. It's a hard game to make metres with. Whereas, kick to touch, get your line out right. It's easy territory. And it's kind of been played here. If we're looking at the pitch in the middle half, the middle third of the field so far between both teams, they're finding it difficult. Since Bowes got out of that 22, we haven't really got anywhere near it yet.
Bowes elected for a 5-man line out there, and Sheehan finds O'Halloran. Pearce met by Jackie Shields. Blackrock seem to have copped on that Pearce has been a carrier. Cronin again with lovely little footwork, steps inside and catches an inside shoulder. Shouts of forward from the Blackrock faithful there, but not given. Flannery looking for options there. Blackrock contesting the breakdowns viciously. It's a very good carry again from Eva McCormack there. It's a chop and tag policy that's clearly been implemented by Ben Martin and his coaching staff for Blackrock. But Bowes again with some great rugby and a great little line there. O'Mahony with a lovely flat pass for Haleman. Bowes again 5 metres inside the Blackrock. A little bit lateral as we're 20 minutes. And hands in the cookie jar for Blackrock there. An attempted intercept has been adjudged to have been a slap down, and there's going to be a conversation amongst the officials there. What's your take on Bowes' attack when they have gone through the phases, Eimear?
Yeah, like they're trying to do what Blackrock are doing there. You can see it again, the forwards and the backs interlinking really well, trying to get that ball out behind, trying to spread the ball. But like you said, they're going very lateral again. They haven't really moved from that halfway line here in front of us, and they need to be patient, but moving forward and getting patience in the attack with your pods, having your forwards, ready to clear the breakdown, because we know the threats that Blackrock having that breakdown. But again here, hopefully Bowes can sort out their line out and gain possession of it.
The first 5 lineouts for Bowes, Claude O'Halloran with the last clean taken in a 5-man lineout. Blackrock seem to have their homework done, and as you rightly mentioned in your pre-match analysis, Hannah O'Connor, a huge presence, not just with the ball in hand, but also at the set piece.
Yeah, knowing Hannah, she's done so much homework. She doesn't come into any game without homework done. So they'll have looked at who our main jumpers are, who the Bowes girls will look to hit, and she's always going to get up in attack and in defence.
Another clean line out for UL Bowes there. O'Halloran with a lovely little take, but a knock on there. Scrappy is unfair, Eimear, but it's hard for teams to get momentum in such a stop-start nature. But is it fair to say that this will suit Bowes more than Blackrock?
Absolutely. What is it, 21 minutes gone in the game and no score? It's just proven the how hard it is to break down a team like UL Bowes, that they have a never die attitude. But it's scrappy on both sides. Again, it's a big game. It's a big day for players. This was expected. There was going to be quite a lot of stoppages until, I suppose, the nerves go from the start. It's hard to say which team, has been more on top at the moment. In pieces, Blackrock have been good in the defence, but then making silly mistakes on that, and the controlling of the game. Then on the bow side of things, they've sorted out their line-outs. So I suppose it'll be whoever gets that first score will settle them.
We've seen conversations obviously had at set piece where Bows have gone from a full man line out to a 5-man to get that possession. At the same time, I think it's fair to say that Blackrock and Ben Martin will be saying to not force that last pass on those edges, because we have seen when they have had the ability to get into those wider channels and make those carries when the breakdown is clean, but somebody's just decided to sling that pass rather than go through the hands.
Yeah, and sometimes it's the easy option is the best option, and it doesn't have to be fancy, and it's keeping the ball. And rugby is a possession territory game. It's you want to have one or the other.
You should have been a forward, Eimear, as Tatum Bird gets ready to feed the scrum. It squirts out the back. The ball is in the hands of Breen again. Shaped to kick, but makes a lovely little half break there. Gets on the inside of Pearce, and it's Muirna Wall and Claire Bennett who've got through excellent work defensively. Breen again moves it, but the ball is knocked on again there. As much and all as that is a mistake, you have to commend Bo's defence there. It was resolute. Breen looked like she made a half gap, but the defence on the inside shored it up.
Yeah, there was absolutely nowhere to go. There was good line speed, they had good spacing in their defence. Came from, I suppose, a mixture of ball handling error, but also good defence from the Bows. Lots of pressure on them, lots of talk. You can hear just how vocal they are here, which is always off-putting for the attacking team.
Indeed, 23 and a half minutes gone in the game. This is a Club Scene podcast production in association with Stream Sport, powered by Energia. Muirna Wall gets ready as the referee is telling the forwards to stop with the dark arts and just get down and scrummage so we can play some rugby here.
That wouldn't be like Fiona Reedy. Up to the dark arts out the scrums.
Bows did have an unbelievable scrum about 15 minutes ago, and they are looking to have another go there. It is crabbing across. The referee has called use it. Pearce, well marshalled, moves the ball to Wall. Now it's in the hands of Kate Flannery. She's moved it on, and Cronin, with her soccer background, just hacked it downfield. But it is Dealey, and it's a lovely little inside pass, well disguised there. Jackie Shields with the carry on the far side of the pitch. Blackrock looked to get into shape here as O'Connor puts her hand up and demands the ball. Huge confrontation there between O'Connor and 2 or 3 Bows players. Shields with the carry. Breen marshalling. The referee wants to have a chat. Looks like it's been a seatbelt tackle from Fiona Reedy, and Chloe Pearce, with her polite manners, will come over and try and talk the referee out of anything here, Eimear. But we've seen Blackrock, perhaps from broken field play, look to be very, very dangerous there, and they almost got through with a gap.
Yeah, it was just an error there, wasn't it, from Bows with the handling error and that. And that's something I think there must have been a miscommunication in who was getting what or what the play was there between Kate Flannery and Nicole Cronin. Like you said, Nicole Cronin with her soccer background booting the ball, but to Maeve Dealey is someone you don't want to boot the ball to with that amount of space. She managed to get the offload away, but it just came from, again, the lack of accuracy with that pass there in the back line. So hopefully they can get that sorted from, again, a really good scrum from Bows. What we knew coming into that the scrum was going to be a strong point of Bows. Blackrock seemed to be marshalling the line out pretty well, but the scrum is something here now they'll look to build on. They'll look to get a good defensive scrum in here and put pressure on that Blackrock team.
The stop-start nature of the game, Eimear, the forwards won't mind it. I know from experience. I'd like to get my breath, but frustrating for both sets of backs.
It is, and you're getting 4 or 5 phases, and then it's penalty or it's a turnover, it's a knock on, and it's hard to get into the game, especially as wingers and that. There's plenty. You want plenty of opportunities to get yourself settled into the game, and it will open up. The gaps will open up, and players will get tired. And this type of intensity is hard to keep up. And Bows are after winning that scrum penalty, like we said.
Muirna Wall on the move, hits Pearce. Well tracked by Maeve O'Leary there. No love lost between those two players. Claire Bennett has to play in the second row, and it's a lovely little carry there by Eilís Cad, but she's very well met, but still gets the gain line. Pearce, again, she's got through a tremendous amount of work, having been out injured for the last 8 weeks with a shoulder problem. Cronin looking for a 50-22 there from inside her half. It's well marshalled by Maeve Dealey on the inside, and it's a lovely little pass to Shields, who carries well. Very noticeable the Blackrock are getting straight into shape any time they get to a touchline. And Bowes, Brianna Haleman and Kate Flannery look to be a little bit isolated here in midfield if Blackrock can see those gaps. But Haleman does extremely well to make the tackle. Blackrock doing very well at the breakdown. O'Mahony, and a forward pass is given. That's the first time, Eimear, we have seen Blackrock get into shape, know exactly what they're doing, and they do look very effective with ball in hand when it goes to hand.
Straight away off that turnover, you know, they knew where to go. They had their forwards intermingled with their backs. They obviously have a structure. They've worked hard on it. Like I said, over the last few weeks, I've had that opportunity to work solely on club, solely on structure. And that was very evident there off that turnover ball. You know, turnover ball is where a lot of tries can be got because teams are unstructured. But that was good, good idea and good structure and organisation to get a Blackrock set up there. But what I thought was really good game management from Nicole Cronin there. They've played a lot of rugby here in front of us in the halfway line, and to force that pressure back onto Blackrock, to make them play out of their 22. And to force them to play, you know, you want territory, you want to get up into that 22. That's where the tries are scored. Eilish
Cahill getting some treatment from UL Bowes physio John Holland as directions are being given to both packs there. If you were to speculate, Eimear, as to where Bowes could break down Blackrock or Blackrock break down Bowes, do you think it's in the wider channels?
Yeah, I think they're marshalling it pretty well. I think Blackrock can definitely look to expose the wider channels. Bowes seem to be slow on the fold to get their numbers down. Brianna Haleman saved them there at one stage there. There was like a 5-3 overlap. Even there, that forward pass from Laura Feely, there was 2 players outside the last Bowes defender. So the wider channels are where Blackrock are going to need to get there. I think Bowes need to be really secure with their ball going forward. A lot of the carries are one-off carries. If you can make sure that you have your inside and outside bodyguard, you know, there to clean the breakdown. We know just how dangerous Blackrock are in that breakdown.
Absolutely. Bowes definitely with the upper hand in the scrum as Wall gets ready to feed. The set piece has been a big feature here for both sides. Blackrock, as there's a free kick for an early engaged. Chloe Pearce moves it to Cronin. Flannery and Haleman with a good carry beats the first tackler on the inside, but well marshalled by Eimear Curry of Blackrock. They've used Eilish Cahill again. That's the third or fourth carry really close to the ruck. It's almost pre-planned again. Clean ball from Myrna Wall to Cronin. The ball is in the hands of Clara Barrett. She's right on that touchline. Does very well to stay in. Clodagh O'Halloran with the carry. Wall again to Cronin. Cronin to Pearce. Pearce again. A lovely little inside ball disguised to Claire Bennett. And Bowes now going through the phases, testing that Blackrock defence as Cronin slings another pass to Flannery. And it's Haleman again, hugely abrasive carrier of the ball. McCormack, well hit there by Hannah O'Connor. And then Ubreen, no love lost between those two. Garrett again with lovely hands. Wonderful carry by Claire Bennett. Laura O'Mahony in barking orders. Bowes a little bit disjointed and Blackrock fully set. Cronin has it and decides a little dink over the top. Where's this going to bounce? It's bounced into the hands of Cronin. And she's managed to get in behind and she's thrown a pass to O'Halloran. There's an opportunity here for UL Bowes. But the referee has the hand outstretched and gives the scrum to Blackrock. Much better from UL Bowes. There's something from nothing again, and Cronin's soccer skills to the fore, Eimear Considine.
Absolutely. You were just saying about how there was a lack of structure, but Nicole Cronin obviously thrives on a lack of structure, created something for herself. She said, I'll do it myself. Chip and chase, which we've seen Nicole do so often. Great carry from her. And just unlucky there, Clodagh O'Halloran on the outside there. But really exciting. It's good to see. It's good to see the structure. You said a second ago that almost looked planned. Probably is planned. You know, they've a lot of work done. They've a lot of structures put in place. And it's good to see that cohesion and plan in place of the Bowes attack.
31.5 minutes gone here in Stradbrook. 1 for the purists, 0 all as Blackrock get ready to scrum. They will be a little bit nervous having been free kicked early and having a penalty. And Bowes with a huge push, but it's an early push and Blackrock gets some breathing space.
What's interesting to note is that Emma Hubin would have been a usual starter as hooker there. Maybe that she's impacting her absence. She's on the bench today. Maybe an impact as to why I know Blackrock managed to win that penalty there, but the previous two, maybe they need that extra strength and depth in the pack with Emma Hubin on the bench. She's plenty of experience for Ireland, plenty of experience for Leinster in that hooker position there.
The bench will have huge impacts, no doubt, later in the game. But wonderfully refreshing, as Eimear Considine has said, to see Nicole Cronin just play what's on as Beth Cregan readies herself to throw in. Hannah O'Connor walking in late with Eimear Curry and Mairead Hula into the line-out and decides to take a throw jump, but that's not straight. And you kind of get the feeling with 9 minutes to go, or thereabouts, in the first half, Eimear, that Bohs have been in the 22 3 times. If they really want to go places in the semi-final, they need to start taking opportunities, and this is a perfect opportunity to get into the 22 and launch an attack.
Yeah, absolutely here. Given how well they've been doing the scrums now, you'd be looking for a good platform to set up Morna and Nicole and get the ball out wide to people like Lorna Mahoney. Has plenty of experience, plenty of pace, great footwork out here in the wing, and like a really exciting backline here. So let's see what Bohs can do. A
reminder that this is a Club Scene podcast production and a co-production with the Irish Rugby Football Union. 0-0 here in Stradbrook as Myrna Wall puts the ball in. Still inside there, Pearce does well to carry. Hits Wall again to Cronin. Cronin on the inside, looking for soft shoulders. Does well to recycle the ball. Wall hits McCormack. Some huge collisions out there. Sure to take a toll on the body as we head in. McCormack with another close-in carry, and Wall bounces from the ruck. Oh, we're going to have a stoppage in play here. There's a flag out on the opposite side. Actually very difficult to see. The Leinster touch judge has a blue flag. But I didn't see anything there. We'll wait for their call.
I'm not quite sure what happened there, but Blackrock seemed to be picking up the ball. Referees are having a chat with each other.
Some very experienced characters there. No matter what happens, they'll decide to pick up the ball and decide the penalties for them. But again, it's interesting to note, Eimear, that Bohs, for all their dominance in the scrum, they've shored up the line-out. Blackrock seem to have come back in, and as you said, they've remedied the issues they've had, and they've withstood for pretty much 25 minutes of the half anything Bohs have thrown at them.
Yeah, absolutely, because even there, they were... Even when Bohs won that scrum and it was cleanly won by them, the Blackrock was straight up in defensive line. You can hear the shouts, you can hear the line speed. That seems to be a penalty there for Blackrock.
Hannah O'Connor having a chat. One update to bring you from the Energia All-Ireland League Women's Division Conference semi-final. Galwegians lead Suttonians 10-0 in Crowley Park. Orla Dixon with the second try for Galwegians. So we're not sure what the weather is like in Crowley Park. But it's 10-0 to Wegians there in that conference semi-final. We will endeavour to bring you updates as we get them throughout the afternoon. In the interim, Enya Breen has kicked Blackrock to within 5 metres of the halfway line. 35 minutes on the clock, still scoreless here as Beth Cregan.
And it seems like they're bringing in the guns. Dorothy Wall is after entering onto the field.
Never too early to bring on the guns. 5 minutes before half-time, Dorothy Wall comes into the fray. A wonderful line-out. Hannah O'Connor again. She's been a huge presence. And Blackrock looking to get to Witt early, a pre-planned move. But again, sling the pass. It's in the hands of Maeve Liston. Ben Martin will no doubt be frustrated with the skills, but he knows that his team have the opportunity to come back in.
Do you know what? The decision was right. You know, the space was there. And unfortunately,
Chloe Pearce decided to take a quick tap there, and it is a knock-on. And Eimear, again, we don't want to sound overly critical from the players, but in terms of big moments when you're sitting in a video review with any coach and someone as detailed as Niamh Briggs, these big moments call for clarity and clear heads, and there was just a bit of a rush of blood to head there from Bohs.
I don't think Chloe is going to need Briggsy to tell her about that there in the review, but she'll know that herself. And look, she probably thought it was on. She's been making big carries. They weren't back 10. 9 times out of 10, that'll work.
In the other semi-final, conference semi-final, the latest is Wicklow 17, Ballincollig 0. So at the moment, it looks like we're on course for a conference final next Saturday, December 10th, between Wicklow and Galwegians. That's the conference semi-final. The other semi-final today in Park Avenue between Railway Union and Old Belvedere. We will bring you updates as we get them at half-time as Tatum Bird gets ready to feed the scrum here. About 3.5 minutes to half-time on the running clock. One for the purists, as we said, 0-0. Bows putting fierce pressure on the Blackrock scum. Channel 1, Breen says downtown. And McInerney is going to chase. It's been a vicious bounce and it's well fielded there by Ella Durkin. And the Bows bench looking for a turnover, but the referee said that they were off their feet. Again, as much as Blackrock are in structure, it seems that from the broken field they've got so many dangerous players, Eimear.
Yeah, look, that bounce can go anyway. Ella Durkin did well, good hands to get it. It was a good bounce and a really good option from Enya Breen to get out of there. Like I said, they've been stuck over there inside that half for the last, I'd say, 20 minutes. So they needed to get out of there, get up the field. It's a good opportunity for them to create something here. There's a few minutes left, 0-0. It'd be a real boost for them going in at half time, but similarly a kick in the teeth to Bows if they can see the point here.
A good Munster phrase with a kick in the teeth. As Blackrock ready themselves for the line out, Hannah O'Connor has been imperious in the air. It's a great little call and it's a lovely little transfer there. The ball thrown to the tail and moved in, but Bows doing very, very well to scupper them from the start. The ball is in the hands of Breen and Shields will look to carry hard. She gets inside Cronin, but Flannery covers her out half. Blackrock not looking after the breakdown, and it's a fantastic turnover again. It's Kate Sheehan. She must have heard you. We were talking about Maeve O'Leary, but Sheehan has been absolutely outstanding.
It's another string to Kate's bow. Obviously we know how good she is in the lineouts, but on the breakdown there, she has so much experience, knows when to go in, and that was a crucial moment inside the 22. 2 minutes to go. Absolute confidence boost there for Bows coming into half time. The rain has started to come down here, so it's going to make conditions just a little bit more scrappy, I'd say.
Yes, it has, and nobody can believe anything Met Éireann say because there was no rain forecast. But thank the heavens that we are indoors today. Fair play to the crowd. Nobody moving here. As O'Halloran takes the line out, Blackrock electing to stand off the maul. Referee says play away as Eilish Cahill, and the ball with Wall now. And that ball does go into touch on that far side. It is very difficult to see. It is a light misting, hence I'm not a weather forecaster, but you could just see there as soon as the rain has come down, the ball slipping through the hands of Claude O'Halloran and into touch. And it's going to be a game, we feel, Eimear, that's defined by small margins.
It is, and it's those simple things that, Claude will be kicking herself for that there. They went back blind, obviously saw a gap out blind, but I suppose that's what you want to do. You want to keep the teams guessing, you want to keep Blackrock, not just all folding on the open side. Maybe the right option again, just like before with Blackrock, lack of execution.
Great take in the line out again by O'Connor, and Blackrock this time elect to maul, and they are moving very, very well. The hand will come out. And it's a free play for Blackrock as Maeve O'Leary with a great carry. Breen options there. Shields. Cronin with a soak tackle and Shields getting a little bit of gain line there. She's trapped at the bottom of the ruck. Referee says that's okay. Ball in the hands of Eimear Corrie. She's been very dynamic and great knowledge of the rules there. Turnover, but Fiona Reedy over, and I spoke too soon there, it does appear. No, she's not going back for not rolling away. It is Blackrock. We're taken down in the maul and they will have an opportunity. Eimear Considine, with all your experience, given where we are you attempting 3 points or going to the corner or otherwise?
Given how good their line out has been working, I think Blackrock have an opportunity. That maul was pretty strong there. Look where they can kick to. They have two fantastic kickers on the field. I don't think that's an option. They're going to back their maul strength here for the kick to the corner here from Enya Breen. Yeah,
rain really starting to come down there, and we speak about big moments as we enter just over 41 minutes into first half stoppage time. We have seen UL Bows with 3, possibly 4 entrances to Blackrock's 22, and I make this Blackrock's first possible entry to Bows 22. So let's see where they go on the line out. They've gone with a full man line out, a 3-3 setup to the middle. Claude O'Halloran gets a hand in, and the referee has given a scrum to Blackrock. Bows would have been hoping for that half-time whistle there. Conditions now women and children in front of us moving for the clubhouse potentially for some mulled wine for the adults, kids on some sparkling water perhaps. But this is a big moment before we head towards half-time. Eimear, Blackrock with a scrum. Bohs did have the upper hand, but Blackrock seem, if they can smell blood here, that they're going to take the opportunity.
Yeah, look, you need to look at where you are. They're 5 metres out, have worked their way up the field here. They've had the momentum for the last few minutes. The rain is absolutely pouring down here now to Bohs' advantage, but Bohs are stuck in their 5 metre line defending a scrum here. So let's hopefully now the front row can keep doing what they were doing and win it back.
Fiona Reedy, Kate Sheehan and Eilish Cahill will look to use all their experience to stop Aoife Moore, Beth Cregan and Laura Feely getting the upper hand. Blackrock have gone with a 4-2 setup with Enya Breen directly behind the scrum. But like any scrum 10 metres from the line, it never goes off first hand, and we will have a second scrum set down. It looks probably, Eimear, for all intents and purposes here, that it's probably going to be a carry off the back from Hannah O'Connor and keep it simple and try and go over the top of Bohs rather than around them.
You'd imagine she'd be putting a target on Nicole Cronin's back there. I'd say they're eyeing each other up. Nicole is ready for her, but Hannah is probably one of the hardest people to tackle. She's very hard, very strong in the tackle, and she gets a bit of momentum.
And it's a penalty to Blackrock. Bird has the ball in her hands. The decision is yet to be made, but if we were to hazard a guess, you'd imagine that Blackrock will elect for another scrum. Cries of "Come on the Rock" from the faithful still out in the rain, but they are setting up to go.
It looks like Emma Hubin is after donning the pitch, and that's 2 good scrums from Rock.
Yeah, it was a great call from you earlier on, Eimear, as Rock elect to take the quick penalty. Resolute defence from Bohs as we're in the dying embers of the first half. Close in carries from Blackrock, but again adjudged, and it's been wonderful consistency from the officials all afternoon, as Blackrock were adjudged to have went off their feet and sealing in that ruck. Everyone's human, Eimear. Both coaches at half-time will speak about taking their opportunities, but it looks as if Bohs should be able to take half-time if Nicole Cronin decides to tap, which she does, and kick the ball dead. It may be 0-0 at half-time, but what's your main takeaways for who's on top and what could be done better?
It really was a half of 2 halves almost. The Bohs were parked inside their 22, 3 opportunities early on, and would have been disappointed to come away with nothing. And similarly, that's really, really disappointing for Blackrock to come away from 3, 4 opportunities, penalty, line out, quick tap, scrum, and not come away with. They had plenty of opportunities there, and they tried it all. There was a scrum, a line out, a quick tap, and Bohs still managed somehow to keep them out. Fantastic patience from Bohs. I think the decisions were correct from Blackrock. Their mauls been working really well. I think their scrum, Emma Hubin has come on and seems to have changed that scrum. With the quick taps, the conditions are worsening here, so maybe the throw and the line out is a difficult one. So the decisions were correct. I think it was just good defence, lack of execution, and silly things like going off your feet, which the ref has been pinging them on for all day.
Does this seem like the team that potentially scores first could win the game in the second half? We've bringing in the elements. I presume Ben Martin and Niamh Briggs' team talks will slightly change, that physicality is going to become to the fore, but it seems like the kind of game where if a team can manage to get 5 or 7 points ahead and force the other team into mistakes. Does it feel like that for you?
Yeah, and Blackrock do seem to have the added assistance of that wind coming in the second half, so they'll be looking to play the territory game and ping Bohs back into the 22 and keep the pressure on them and force Bohs to play out or kick it out. And it might be just another added element to their game for the second half that was not, I suppose, seen as much in the first half. The first half seemed to be very patient. It was very much do the simple things right. But very little gaps on both sides. So the defence has been solid on both sides from both Bohs and Blackrock. A couple of mistakes, obviously, on both sides as well. But I think the first team, like you said, that gets the try, they'll relax and the game will open up and there'll be a bit of flow. It's just a matter of which team are going to do that first.
Both teams, interestingly, still in their split backs and forwards. to come in terms of where you've been in tight games at semi-finals. There's not much change to approach in the second half. There'd only be 1 or 2 quick points from the leaders and the coaching staff.
I think both coaches have to be content with that. You know, you haven't conceded. Probably both teams there at the end will probably be more annoyed about the lack of execution with the try opportunities. But in regards to work rate, they're working fantastic. You know, the defence is good on both sides. The carries have been good on both sides. They've managed to get the ball wide, which seems to be both teams' game plans, interlinking the forwards and backs together. Both teams have 12s and 10s that play both as playmakers, and the 10s, Enya and Nicole, are making good opportunities and good options with their kicks in behind. I think it's just tidying up the little things. It's those last passes to the wing. They're the money passes that get those tries. They've been far away from the try line, but you know, you need to be making those passes on both sides. That we've seen mistakes, knock-ons, which happen, you know, and the conditions won't be any easier coming into the second half. Those knock-ons are inevitable, and the pitch does look quite mucky underneath it. There was a men's game on beforehand as well. All different things you have to factor into the consideration of playing today, but yeah, it's been an exciting game, if it's possible to say exciting, with 0-0.
One for the purists. We've been thoroughly entertained. Let's speak a little bit about the bench. You've mentioned Emma Hubin and Dorothy Wall, that the big guns were brought in 5 minutes before half time. When we look at somebody like Chloe Pearce coming into the game after 6 or 8 weeks out, how important is it that she goes, and she will go until she has nothing left in those legs? But the likes of Rachel Allen, Abby Salter-Townsend, and particularly Gina Behan coming onto the pitch, how much is that going to affect the flow of the game and the importance of the bench with about 20 minutes to go?
Again, I don't think it'll impact the flow of the game. We've seen already the impact that Emma Hubin has had. We've seen Dorothy Wall come on the field there. You know, the flow I don't think will impact it. I think we've seen an impact from the bench, which means we can see more of an impact we will see an impact from the bench from the Bows girls in the second half. Lily Brady's another one there that brings lots of energy on the Bows team. She was captain of that Bows team that won the colleges during the week. You've got Abby Salter-Townsend, a really, really good 9 as well. Rachel Allen has heaps of experience. I think the centres are doing fantastic at the moment, but Rachel is a good head to bring on. I do think it was somewhere that was needed in the rock side of things. I think those changes were very tactical because it was needed, and we can see how much it changed the rock attack, making their way up, winning those scrum penalties, and almost scoring that try at the end. So they were needed substitutions. So it'll be interesting to see how Briggsy uses those subs in the second half, because at the moment there's no one that's standing out to me that, you know, really needs to be substituted.
Sorry to interrupt you, Eimear. We've just received half-time updates as we see. It's Blackrock College 0, UL Bows 0 in this semi-final here in Stradbroke. Railway Union and Old Belvedere is a cracker, 19 points to 17 in Park Lane in favour of Old Belvedere. Wicklow well ahead, 29 points to 0 against Ballincollig in the conference semi-final in Ashtown Lane, and Galwegians are 10 points to 0 up over 10 points to 5 over Suttonians. Half-time in the men's Energia All-Ireland League Round 8. Young Munsters are 17 points to 3 up against Shannon at half-time in Thomond Park, and Wesley and Mary's are 7 points apiece. Thanks to everyone back at base for those updates as we get ready for the second half here. Eimear, Considine, a lot of players looking cold. I'd much rather be a forward than a back on this pitch as we head into the second half. Are we to expect a real battle up front, or do you think we're going to see free-flowing rugby as this rain seems to ease somewhat?
I think it will open up. I think it's difficult to keep that intensity of defence, of line speed, of folding. There will be gaps, there will be line breaks. The ball will eventually get out to those backs, but never play in December without Under Armour skins. I don't know why you'd play without any Under Armour on you.
Enya Breen with the kickoff. We speak about big moments. The kickoff for Blackrock has gone dead, and it will be a scrum for UL Bows on the halfway line. Nicole Cronin playing mind games with Emma Hubin of Blackrock. Compounding errors is a big thing, and it's language we hear at the top level of the game, but both teams want to make sure they minimise errors, as you feel that giving up field position easily could potentially cost you points in this game, Eimear Considine.
Yeah, I can see what Energia was trying to do with that win, try and force Bows back and try and ping them inside their 22 and make it a difficult clearance. Obviously went dead there, so Bows have an opportunity here in the halfway, and this is valuable at the start of the game, especially playing against a win, to have this type of territory.
Wall gets ready to feed the scrum directly on the halfway. A very solid scrum from Rock. The ball goes to ground, and it's well gathered by Wall. Collects her own pass, moves the ball on to Flannery, and she's well marshalled, and Bows are going to need to make sure that they're on the money at the breakdown here as Blackrock make a real go for it. Wall bounces out. Pearce, Captain Fantastic, has shown up excellently, as we said, returning from injury. Cronin moves the ball to Reedy. Again, Bows will not want to be playing in their 22 and risking a turnover. Ball is in the hands of Cronin again. It's a wonderful carry with a great tackle there. Dorothy Wall with a superb hit on the right-hand touchline. Great hands from Bows Claire Bennett there. Again, going through the phases here. And Blackrock happy enough to just make tackles and stand off. Cronin potentially looking for one more carry. And Laura O'Mahony, not the greatest of kicks, and the ball is in the hands of Maeve Deely. But again, we spoke about nerves at the start of the first half. Eimear Bows getting out of jail there, and a very uncharacteristic knock-on gives Bows the second scrum 2 minutes into the second half.
That was sloppy from both sides there. It started from that scrum, really solid scrum from Bows, but then a miscommunication again with where the ball was going, forcing them back onto their 22, somewhere they don't want to be, given especially since you started up on your halfway line. Again, I don't think Laura Manny was supposed to kick that ball there, so a little bit of, unstructured play. It worked out well with a knock on from Maeve Deely, but like I said, she'd slipped before she got that ball. The pitch underfoot conditions here are quite challenging, along with that wind and that misty rain that's after coming in.
A solid scrum which restarted the first half was a welcome sight as Wall gets ready. Bows are set up with a 4-1 split. Wall to Cronin as Flannery outside her, but decides to kick right across, and O'Mahony's going to chase this, and the ball is anyone's. She's done very well to keep that alive. She's slung it back into play. Flannery goes down. Pitch getting very wet underfoot as Bows are on the right hand touchline. O'Halloran with a carry, but she's very well met by the Rock defence. And you can see Rock getting off the line 30 metres either side of that ruck, not wanting to give Bows any yards. But UL Bows second row, Claire Bennett, is not having any of that.
Claire's really grown into herself as a player in the last year or two. She's really, really grown into this Bows team.
She's been fantastic all season. Wall hits Farrell to her back row partner, Claude O'Halloran. But holding again there, we spoke about the breakdown and the importance, Eimear, and from a back three point of view there, that's not the area you want to be playing in the field?
No, it isn't. And the Blackrock, you have to commend the Blackrock defence there. They were really structured. They were going, like you said, chop and top, two dead tackle. Bows essentially for the last 5-6 phases went lateral. They didn't make any gain line. But again, I think it comes down to players going on their own. They need to, when you shift that ball, your job is not done. You need to get over the ball and make sure that ruck is sealed. Blackrock are good on the breakdown, and I think it's no surprise that Maeve Deely is going to go for posts here.
Yeah, as you said, Maeve Deely has had the chat with Hannah O'Connor and has elected to have a shot at goal. The rain is coming down, but Blackrock with an opportunity here. Just coming up in the 15-minute mark in the game. A right-legged kick for Deely as the hush comes down around Blackrock, taking her time over the kick here. Bows marking both posts, but a big moment in the context of the game as Deely lines it up. It's a good strike from Deely, and it's over the bar by the skin of its teeth, and the flags go up. Maeve Deely with the first points of this Energia All-Ireland League Women's semi-final, which means Blackrock are 3 points to 0 up after 50 minutes. Eimear Considine, a big moment in the game, in the context of the game with the first score, but Bohs will know they cannot play ball in their own half if Blackrock are going to be attacking the breakdown like they are.
Yeah, they need to get out of there, especially with that wind. So that whoever is in that kicking position needs to take charge of it and really make sure that that is either going to touch, that is kicked at distance, and at least putting the Blackrock players under pressure, for Bohs to get out of trouble like they have here.
Shields with a carry there, but Captain Hannah O'Connor not releasing on the ground, and Bohs will have an immediate opportunity if they so choose to take 3 points.
You'd imagine Nicole is going to go for the post here. It's just a chance to settle the nerves, to essentially eradicate everything that just happened in the last 30 seconds. You're not going to get a better opportunity in here. The tea is coming on the pitch. Yeah,
they've elected for the 3 points. While she is lining up, Eimear, we spoke about, teams not compounding errors. It's both teams have just done it there, but it just shows how physical the game is. The conditions have made it very, very bad. But you get the feeling that maybe that lapse of concentration or that error from a team is going to allow somebody else to get that upper hand, and that has certainly been the theme at the start of the second half.
Yeah, like I said, it was the first score on the board was going to settle a team. Now you want to relax, but you don't want to relax that much, and get isolated in attack like that, like Hannah seemed to do. Great turnover from Bohs and a fantastic opportunity for Nicole here.
Cronin lines the ball up in line with the right hand post, right footed kick. Conditions are quite difficult as she goes through her routine. Good strike from Cronin, makes no mistake, uses all her experience there, and it's 3 points all here in Stradbrook in this Energia All-Ireland League Women's semi-final after 52 and a half minutes. Hopefully the scoring keeps up, Eimear, but it's tight, it's tense, it's everything you'd expect for a semi-final.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't think there's going to be a lot of scores, a lot of tries scored here today, given the nature of the game and how it's been so far. It will be down to discipline and the simple things and lacking, keeping that error count down, keeping the penalty count down, especially in places where they have an opportunity to convert.
Breen restarts, ball finds grass, which Bohs will not be happy about, but Chloe Pearce carries very well, got through some amount of work, but met again by her opposite number, Hannah O'Connor. Clodagh O'Halloran calling for backup, and she gets it in the form of Claire Bennett. But she loses the ball, and Blackrock on the move again. And they're inside the 22. Bird digging the ball out from the end of the ruck. O'Connor met by O'Halloran and brought to ground the first time that Hannah O'Connor has been stopped in her tracks. And very, very slow ball from Blackrock as Bohs managed to set the line. And you can see after that knock on there, real G up for the UL Bohs players. And again, Bohs survive this onslaught from Blackrock.
Yeah, I think the decision making needs to get better here in the 22 and stop overplaying it. The conditions are poor. It does leave room for error. Blackrock are good at their tackling. There was 2 in that tackle, which caused that ball to be ripped. The person tackling higher ripped that ball. But I think one phase earlier, that ball could have been gotten out of that territory, gotten out of the 22. The kickers or the playmakers need to take charge of that and exit appropriately inside that 22, especially off the restart.
Nicole Cronin receiving some attention here. She's down, holding her shoulder. We'll hope she is okay on that front. Eimear, we did again speak about nerves in the game. Blackrock, used to playing highly enterprising rugby, can play physical if they need to. You sense they're frustrated here at the moment?
They have to be frustrated. They've won 8 from 8 coming into this game. With their closest game, being against Railway, 1917 win. They've had significant wins against Wicklow, Cook, Galwegians, Bohs. They've only really had 2 tight games. So I suppose it's different rugby when you have those tight games, and the decision making comes down to it, the territory comes down to it, those little, you can get away with making mistakes when you beat a team 45-7,
Yeah.
But it's these tight games that you need to be clear in the mind with everything that you do.
Ill discipline again from Blackrock at scrum time. adjudged to have had early engagement there in the scrum. And the ball is now in the hands of Chloe Pearce, who elects to go for another scrum.
It's a day for the forwards anyway.
All days are days for the forwards, Eimear Considine. The game plan here to show there is a little bit of a wind picking up where Blackrock have it just a small bit going directly down the field. But from your experience here, Nicole Cronin will look to either go one phase or straight downtown after scrum.
I'd imagine maybe a strong carry here from Chloe Pearce to get them a bit more territory, and there seems to be a good bit of space there in the backfield for Maeve Dealey to cover. They're playing a 4 flat up defence and one in the backfield, so or 5 flat up and then one in the backfield there with Maeve. So getting out of here is the most important thing here. You don't want to play your rugby here. We've seen the last 2 attempts that they've been unsuccessful, so hopefully Nicole can make that decision, get a good scrum on here.
Bows looking to assert their dominance in the scrum and moving forward. Blackrock did well to stay disciplined. Cronin moves the ball. It's out. Flannery with a lovely little pass. And O'Mahony, first touch in the second half for Laura O'Mahony. Pearce again with the carry as Briggs tells her charges to up at a level. Referee says there that there was a seatbelt tackle from Blackrock. Again, the stop-start nature of the game, neither backline will be happy with it, but neither forward pack will mind.
Yeah, the forwards are definitely kept busy at the moment. And look, some games are like that. And the forwards, like they always tell you, they'll make the space for us to finish the tries, and they aren't quiet or shy of telling you.
You're too kind, Eimear. You're too kind.
That. And today, both sets of backs are depending on that forward pack to dominate. And it's pretty equal today.
Interestingly, UL Bows have elected to go with a full man line out. Didn't have much profit from that in the first half. And Blackrock do manage to get up and steal with 2 pods there. Hannah O'Connor has been to the fore of everything good for Blackrock. It's a great carry by Wall there. You could hear that collision all the way across the field in our commentary position. O'Connor, again, that must be double figures for carries. And she's getting over that gain line as 3 or 4 UL Bows defenders try to come to terms with her. Breen with the pass out the back. Jackie Shields in the space here for Blackrock as they move the ball. It's Shields again. She's going to throw it. Dealey is in. Dealey has an opportunity to go. The cover's not going to get there. And Maeve Dealey has scored the first try of this Women's Energia All-Ireland League. Eimear Considine. The game comes to life there, and Blackrock showing just how good they are when they get the ball to it.
Yeah, they've been trying to do it in the first half. Passes just did not go to hand. It did. It executed it really well. They did a lovely pass out the back door to get the ball out wide, out to Maeve Dealey. 2v1 executed really well. I think Bow's defence were stretched quite a bit, maybe wrong options in defence in relation to who to take, leaving Clara with an awful lot to do at fullback. Great finish from Blackrock, great initial setup, good patience in that build-up to spread the ball wide. What they've been trying to do for the first half, we just have seen the fruits of their labour coming to fruition here. However, Maeve Dealey hasn't made it easy on herself with the touchline conversion opportunity here.
No, she has not. We spoke about Bow's set piece in the first half, not getting much change from full man lineouts. Hannah O'Connor with the steal on the far side, a wonderful carry there, and as you said, a great finish out wide in Blackrock. Perhaps the pass is sticking off turnover, unlike they did in the first half, as Dealey lines up this conversion. Blackrock at the moment leading 8 points to 3. As Eimear Considine has alluded to, an extremely difficult kick here out on the left-hand touchline for the right-footed Dealey. It's a good strike from Dealey, but it won't make it, and it remains 8 points to 3 in favour of Blackrock as we come up to the 15-minute mark in the second half. And first blood, Eimear, to Blackrock.
Yeah, look, it was coming. It really was. They managed to. Their line has been strong. It was always an area that Bowes really needed to work on at halftime and have a chat about at halftime. They obviously backed it. They obviously had the confidence in it. But like you said, Hannah just read the situation very well. Forced that turnover, and they were so organised off turnover in the first half, and it showed again with that try.
Enya Breen with the clearance. Chloe Pearce with a rather unorthodox gather of the ball. But Fiona Reedy demands the ball from Wall. Met resolutely by Emma Hooban of Blackrock. Reedy's got through a good bit of work. You can really see the glimmer on the ball, but Bowes don't really mind that as Flannery makes a lovely little break and finds her centre partner Brianna Haleman. Bowes just over the 10 metre line here. They've got space on the right hand side if they can see it. Blackrock second row Mairead Houlihan is calling numbers out. The referee gives a penalty and Wall is off on a canter. She needs support with her and she does find it in the form of Ciara Farrell. Bowes again deciding to go and they're not 10.
Post.
Harsh words had underneath the posts after Maeve Deely's try there. Bowes sparked into life, Eimear Considine.
That's exactly the response that you want, and the same type of response they had from that first penalty that Blackrock scored. The decision is what to do here. Do you go for the points? Quick tap, they're going to the corner. Let's hope they make sure of this line at this time.
They obviously feel that opportunities may be few and far between, so it is a bit early to be going gambling, but let's see what numbers they go with in the line-out, considering as Lily Brady gets ready to come into the game. On the far touchline, still waiting. That's Sarah Garrett as well, comes into the game. Niamh Briggs with a few final words of encouragement. As Eva McCormack and Ciara Farrell are replaced. Bowes are again going with a full man line out. Blackrock have resolutely defended, but Clodagh O'Halloran has the ball in her hand as Bowes look to set them all. Blackrock trying to come in from the side there, but Bowes very slowly eking forward here. Need to stay very patient on the ball. The ball is in the hands of Myrna Wall. It squirts out the back. Cronin with a lovely little dart on the inside. Cronin, she has an opportunity and somehow gets through. What a wonderful score from Nicole Cronin. And my God, Eimear Considine, the game has really come to life in this second half.
Nicole is like, whatever you can do, I can do better. So she's matched Maeve Deely's scores here so far today. And she'll be hoping to convert this. That was fantastic confidence in that Bowes line out, and the Clodagh O'Halloran getting up fantastically above them. The maul has always been a strength of Bowes.
Yeah.
Historically, they're known for their strength of their maul, and Blackrock just didn't have an answer to that there. It looked like it was going to be a bit scrappy, but Nicole managed to dance her way around everyone in the Blackrock team there and finish with a lovely dive.
Indeed, Nicole Cronin with a wonderful finish there and saving the blushes of the pack as the ball did manage to jump out the back of that. But Cronin's unstructured play and just desire to play what's on is really refreshing to see in the modern game, Eimear.
She's fantastic to play with. She really, if she backs you, if you say it's on, she'll back you and she'll go for it. You know, and that's what makes her the player that she is, both at 9 and at 10.
As she readies herself for the kick, it's a very, very good strike. Will it have the legs? It's just short. And it's 8 points apiece here as we head into the final quarter of the second half. And whatever about the first half, Eimear, the second half has been really attritional with some great scores.
Yeah, absolutely, and good decision making here with Bowes there. Again, ill discipline in key areas of the pitch. You can't give away penalties after that. The second penalty that Blackrock gave away was an offside or not been back 10. You know, those penalties are silly when you look at where you are in the field.
Sarah Garrett, the replacement there, with the take off Enya Breen's kick. Blackrock have been really aggressive in this area of the field with the tackle and the breakdown as the try scorer Cronin. It's Claire Bennett with a carry. It's Cronin again. It's a lovely little line from Brianna Haleman. Oh, lazy runner from Blackrock. But Hannah O'Connor, no doubt she would have told her teammates that they need to stop Cronin at every opportunity, and she certainly did that there as they look to counter the ruck. And Blackrock go with a counter there. Eimear, Hannah O'Connor, a phenomenal leader with the ball in hand, and you can see there with her physical presence, she stopped Nicole Cronin single-handedly, which a lot of people have failed to do today, and counter rucks to get Blackrock an opportunity to go to the corner here.
Yeah, it's that aggression that makes Hannah the player that she is, both in attack and defence. And saw Nicole running down her channel and was not letting her through. today, given Blackrock an amazing opportunity. But again, I question why Bows aren't looking to get out of there just a phase or two earlier. It's happened 3 or 4 times here now where they've not got out of their 22 quick enough and now caused them to be under pressure. Let's hope they can have some sort of a plan to deal with this strong Blackrock line-out.
As Emma Hubin gets ready to throw the ball in, Bows defending at 2 and 4 in the line-out. Eimear Curry with the dummy to the front. And the ball is thrown in. Blackrock do set them all. And they are round about 6 metres as the maul shuffles to the right hand side and now the left. And the ball is in the hands of Blackrock at the back of the maul. They're still short on the line. Rock again with a very, very good carry. As Reid carries their bird, telling her players to get on it. The ball is adjudged to have went backwards. Their Bows need to stay clued in. Referee says play on again. Bows with the defence. In where the forwards are. They decide to go at the back and it's Enya Breen. And Breen with a good carry. She's met by Nicole Cronin. Blackrock 1.5 metres short. They elect to go back in and the ball is on the ground again. It's Dorothy Wall again. She's got through phenomenal work since she's come on and the referee has the hand out. She's seen an indiscretion, so Blackrock will have a free play here. Maeve O'Leary with the carry. Plenty of voices both on and off the pitch.
Yeah,
the only decision that matters is that of the referee, and she looks to be giving a penalty to Blackrock here, Eimear.
Yeah, I thought you could have played on into phase or two. Probably the space would have been out wider for the Blackrock girls, but Bows have to keep their discipline here. It's crucial. Look where they are in the field. You can't be giving Blackrock any easy yards, and they did seem to defend that maul very well. The last maul that Blackrock had there, so Blackrock need to come away with something here.
They're shaping to go to the corner on the penalty. And they do. Chloe Pearce and Fiona Reedy geeing up their pack around them. They know this is a big moment in the game. 63 minutes on the clock here in Stradbrook. 8 points apiece. A first half for the purists, and it's exploded into life in this second half as Hubin finds her jumper and Blackrock set that maul. Bows clambering, but Blackrock getting very, very close to that line, and they're going very, very close. Blackrock at the back of the maul. It has come down. Bows doing very well. Enya Breen with the ball, perhaps didn't want it, and Cronin meets her. Ball and all tackle from Cronin on Enya Breen. Rock 1.5 metres short. And it's O'Connor. Huge carry by O'Connor. Stopped well. Very close to the line for Rock here again. Bird. And it's a try for Blackrock. A very, very close in carry. Very difficult to see from our commentary position there. But we will bring you the try score as soon as we get it.
I think it might be Aoife Moore that they're all congratulating.
A big moment in the game. Eimear Considine and Blackrock taking their opportunities as they arise to lead 13 points to 8 after 64 minutes here in Stradbrook.
Yeah, that score was absolutely deserved. They put Bows under a lot of pressure in the lead up to that try, both from the last line out and this line out, and they've forced the errors from Bows, which essentially is where they all came from, with that phenomenal defence, stopping Bows getting out of their 22 a few phases back. And yeah, absolutely deserved. It was coming. We can see the structure that they had with their forward pack around the park for the rest of the game, and they were patient. They slowed it down. They had made massive gain line because of their patience with getting their structures right, having their 3 forwards there, and too much for Bows to do in defence.
Eimear Considine says forwards win games and the backs by how many, but it appears
the forwards want to do it too.
Yes, as Maeve Deely lines up this conversion from a similar position to where she converted. And the ball has hit the upright for Blackrock. Deely with a wonderful strike there, but just tailing off and hitting the left hand upright, which leaves the score at 13 points to 8 here after 65 and a half minutes. Eimear Considine, we've seen Bowes get an immediate score afterwards. They're going to need to do it again.
Yeah, they've responded well to each one of the scores that Blackrock have done. And that's just been the nature of the game, really. It's anything you can do, I can do. The exact same, or if not better. And across the board, with the defence, with lineouts, with scrums. We just need to see something from attack now from Bowes here if they can get this ball back.
Well gathered by Mairead Houlihan after Cronin's restart, as Jackie Shields knows no way but forward for Blackrock. Ball back to Breen. Puts boot to ball as it falls from the Dublin sky. Clara Barrett does extremely well. Electric carry and a lovely little offload to Sarah Garrett there on her shoulder. Bowes looking to play ball. Claire Bennett again got through a huge amount of work in the second row. Cronin on the ball, out to Flannery, looking for options. She still goes. Ball adjudged to have went backwards. It's very well gathered there by Sarah Garrett, but Wall, difficult conditions. A little bit frantic from Bowes there, Eimear, but Clara Barrett with a touch of class there with that break and something under nothing.
Yeah, she did well considering the ball went over her head. It's always difficult as a fullback to have to turn around and try and see what's in front of you when your back is turned to the ball, or back is turned to the opposition. But she did well judging that bounce once it went over her head and cut through that Blackrock defence. Really good sidestep to get past Maeve Liston initially on that original tackle, and then to cut through and manage to get that offload to Sarah Garrett, who's just come onto the field and has made a difference so far in the Bowes attack and in the Bowes line-out. I think they need to get a bit more intensity and pace and moving that ball. There was opportunity from Werner to get that ball straight off the base of that ruck and move it out to the wing. There was a 2v1 opportunity there. I think, there's times when the ball needs to be slowed down and there's times when the ball needs to be sped up. And I think when you have that momentum of a turnover attack after making that gain line, you need to be moving that ball wide and putting that Blackrock wing under pressure. Like we saw it with Maeve Deely. That's where they got their try, was out wide, and it's in those wide channels that I think we'll see some fruition as well if you can get that ball to someone like Alana McInerney, who so strong in the attack and so fast when she gets that ball.
12 and a half minutes remaining on the clock here in Stradbrook in what has been an extremely tense second half. Tatum Bird with the ball in hand. Enya Breen has Jackie Shields, Michelle Claffey on her outside, Ella Durkin on the inside. The ball is in the hands of Breen to Shields and Durkin. Nice little out the back. And Blackrock looking to get to width. But again,
the money pass.
The pass on the outside has not gone there, and these are big moments, and the pressure is even getting to the top players, Eimear.
Yeah, it is, and like you're saying, top players, like a lot of these players have international experience. This is a big day for them, but they don't lack in experience with interpros, with international duty. That was, I think, Maeve Deely who lost that ball there. But like I said, it is slippy under conditions, but you'd have to make sure of those passes. It was probably slightly high, but it's something that Maeve Deely will be expecting herself to catch. Yes,
as we enter the final 10 minutes of normal time here in Stradbrook, you can cut the tension with a knife. 13 points to 8. Maeve Deely with all the points. Maeve Deely with one try for Blackrock. Nicole Cronin on the other side. And we believe it was Aoife Moore with the try for Blackrock. 13 points to 8. As we reset the scrum, the Bowes bench, Eimear, a couple of people sent out to warm up.
Yeah, it's no surprise. The bodies have to be tired at this stage. There's been a really attritional game so far. There's been a lot of heavy hits, a lot of heavy tackles. There hasn't been much free flowing rugby, and that has to, linger in the body. So no doubt we'll have some fresh legs to bring some energy onto the bench, and it's needed. It's needed on both teams at this stage.
Behan hits Flannery. Haleman with the spotlight to Cronin. Laura Manny used as a disguise. Barrett again running across the field. Alana McInerney does very well But a wonderful turnover there from Jackie Shields, who has been absolutely outstanding for Blackrock there. Eimear getting to those touchlines brings its own risks, and turnovers are happening an awful lot. And Jackie Shields, they're showing why she's not just a good ball carrier, but very good on the ground.
Yeah, I think Bowes had the option earlier to maybe straighten that attack and maybe punch up. They were going very lateral, and then allowed that. Then a missed pass kind of up in the air allowed Blackrock just to slide off the defence and made it very easy for the Blackrock defence, allowing them to have those numbers. And then Jackie just getting on the end of that turnover. She is a very smart player and would know the time and place and when to go for that poach, and took the right opportunity and was absolutely successful in that, and creating a great opportunity for Blackrock now to kick to the corner and get them back into that 22. So both probably a missed opportunity from them there. Good scrum. It's good to see. You know, they're really, really steady in that. It's just about, I suppose, creating more in that back line. But like I said, the backs haven't had the opportunity today to do that, to create that many opportunities. It's been a very stop-start game for them. Hopefully Alana McInerney is able to pick herself up here from that nasty tackle. She got that ball and looked to straighten it. A good carrier of the ball. Unfortunately got turned over by Jackie Shields there.
Yes, she looks to be in some pain here, as she's attended to. In the interim, Gina Behan has come into the fray for Fiona Reedy, and it looks like Alana McInerney's race is run as she walks off the field. A good performance from Alana McInerney there. Eimear, the game taking its toll on bodies. We await to see the replacement for UL Bowes coming on, but we will bring that to you.
The wing, not her usual position. She's usually in the centre. Has played on the wing, I suppose, as well. But I suppose most of her rugby this season would have been played in the centre, so probably didn't get into as much as she would have liked it today.
And her replacement, Eva O'Flynn, is on the field there as Blackrock move about 28 metres.
You've got your measuring tape out.
Yeah, but I was just going to say I did pass maths for my leaving cert, Eimear, so I need to really show off here. Emma Hoobin readies Hannah O'Connor. Sets her pod. And Blackrock secure the ball, but it's very well read by UL Bowes. The ball very difficult to hold here. Ciara Dwyer with the tackle there. She has entered the game for Kate Sheehan as the referee blows the whistle.
Is it Enya Breen down with an ankle injury or some sort of an injury after that carry there?
Yeah, I think the referee just blowing up for safety with that regard. We will wait to see what direction that is. Eimear, in terms of replacements coming in, very difficult to get up to the level of the game, but as we enter the final 10 minutes, do you see anyone particular that's come on the benches that's going to make a real change for either side?
Well, I suppose both still have both have made quite a few changes at the moment. They have Gina Behan on, they have Sarah Garrett on, Lily Brady. I suppose Ava was on as a result of an injury to Alana, but Rachel Allen still, is a really clear head that is still on the Bowes bench that could come on and settle in and call some shots. In relation to the backs play that I said that we were probably slightly lacking there with the straightening of it, she's quite good with decision making around that, but again she had been injured, so maybe that injury isn't quite exactly where it needs to be, and she's a super sub for the last 10 minutes of the game that she might add that bit of vibrancy.
Allen has been the jewel in the crown for UL Bowes this season as the ball goes out the back. Cronin with a rare mistake as we enter the final 5.5 minutes here in Stradbrook in the Women's Energia All-Ireland League semi-final. 13 points to 8. Blackrock lead. And O'Dwyer is pickpocketed there by Enya Breen. Blackrock with an opportunity. Some good footwork there. And quick ruck ball for Blackrock. It's a good carry there by Coleman. Breen moves it in the hands of Shields. Shields puts a deft little right boot on it. Is it going to bounce? It's not. Blackrock turning up the heat on UL Bows here, Eimear Considine, and the bounce of that ball there for saving UL Bows.
Yeah, I think Jackie Shields, obviously a very smart player, saw the space out wide, made Liston had her hand up for that. Maybe mispositioning there from the newly brought on the field, Ava O'Flynn. Just, you have to keep an eye out on those wingers, have to keep an eye out on those potential kick options all the time, especially in that 22. Blackrock will be they were unlucky with that bounce, but again, Bows will look at the opposite and think how lucky we were.
Kiro Dwyer ready to throw the ball into the line-out. And it's a good take from the replacement. Sarah Garrett, and the referee has adjudged Blackrock to have infringed, and some breathing space for Bows.
That is a nice relief for Bows here. An opportunity for Nicole Cronin to get themselves well and truly out of that 22 and create a platform, hopefully, that they can create something from and learn from that last set play.
Blackrock players and Bows players asking the referee how long is left as we enter the final 5 minutes. Kiro Dwyer scurries to get the ball in front of us. Bows electing to go with a 5-man line-out. You get the feeling here, Eimear, they have to throw caution to the wind as Myrna Wall leaves the fray. Abby Salter-Townsend comes on to 9. Clodagh O'Halloran has been excellent in the air all day. Cronin hits Pearce. And O'Dwyer does so well to hold on to the ball. Conditions, the rain may have stopped, but it's a very slippery ball, and Bows, as we see, have thrown caution into the wind. Blackrock going very hard at that breakdown, so Bows are going to have to manage.
Yeah, I think there was a good option from Chloe Pearce there off that set piece with that 5-man line out. Chloe tipped the ball on because they seem to be double teaming her every time she's got that ball. She's made yards, tipping on to Lily, who made good gain line twice there.
And it's a wonderful turnover from Blackrock there. It's been a real feature of their game, Eimear, to really chop and tag. And for anyone listening that may not be familiar with that, it's a real difficult skill to get right between a tackler and a jackler.
Yeah, it's just communication, really, isn't it, with the person on the left and the right of you, to figure out, who has what. You don't want to. There's a risky line between the two with the new laws obviously been brought in with the high tackle, so not to get high and stop the ball, stop the offload essentially, but without getting too high. But Blackrock seem to have that nailed, the chop and top, and then the next player in is getting that turnover, because generally their dominant hits, they're being put backwards. It's very difficult for the support player. Often they've overran that tip-on pass, so there's the ball carrier is isolated. An opportunity here for Hannah O'Connor. We spoke about her before the game and her long-range kicks. She will be delighted to get her name on the scoreboard today if she can make this long-range kick a feature of Hannah's game. Another feature of Hannah's game.
Yes, Hannah O'Connor, no stranger to big game moments, even if they are off the tee. All good forwards can kick, Eimear, I've always said that. Hannah O'Connor, 45 metres out. Good strike. But it goes to the left and wide. It stays 13 points to 8 with Blackrock as we enter the final 3 minutes of the game.
I think that was a good option from Hannah. Even I know that it didn't work out, but would have put them ahead with only 3 minutes left. Not out of touch almost, but made it difficult for Bows to get back into this game. Indeed.
Dealey, safe as houses, moves the ball. It's juggled. But a great carry there by the replacement, Emma Hubin. Blackrock will be interesting to see if they decide to play the open, expansive game, or will they keep it tight to try and wind down the clock. Breen, who's been excellent all afternoon. That's a wonderful carry again by Shields.
I think that was Dorothy Wall that walked over her that time.
Wall again. The names, Eimear Considine, that we've spoken about, there is quality all over the pitch. We will be asking you for your Energia player of the match in just a few moments' time, but when it's really mattered in the second half, Blackrock's big guns have really shone for them.
Yeah, I think there's been some good carries, some good it's not just about the play, it's the decision making around that as well, and what decisions that you make when you have the ball and when you don't have the ball. There's been some fantastic performances. I do think Eimear has controlled it very well at 10. I think Claff has made some good carries there. Jackie with some good turnovers. The forwards have obviously dominated that. I think we have to look at Dorothy's impact from the bench. Maeve O with her turnovers. Hannah O'Connor obviously with I suppose all elements of her game. Some fantastic performances on the other side of it as well. I thought Claude O'Halloran has really been good in both the line out and in general play. Nicole Cronin has controlled it well when it isn't a backstay, but she's controlled the forwards well, had good patience. Chloe Pearce always made game line with any time she got the ball. We still have a few minutes left, so we'll see what happens.
Indeed we do, as Abby Salter-Townsend feeds the scrum. We are going the distance in this Energia All-Ireland League women's semi-final here in Stradbrook. Cronin feeds Flannery, gets the gain line. Townsend again. Hits Pearce. Leading from the front, as always, is Chloe Pearce. The one-off carries from 9. Eimear, you sense that Bohs are going to have to move the ball around and manipulate.
I think they know they have that penalty advantage going on there. But yeah, you need to move that. At least Rachel Allen seems as on the field here, so we'll hopefully get into that decision making there. But Bohs need to be a bit more creative around that. You can't just play off 9. It's where the defence are the strongest, off the 10, 20, 30 around that pillars, around that ruck. So, even if it was a tip off that 9, but I suppose with the aid of the advantage there, they knew they had that armour with them. Quick tap here from Nicole Cronin. Interesting decision, but Eilish Cahill is always making gain line with her carries.
It's very easy from the commentary position where we're standing to tell the players what to do, as Cronin finds Claire Bennett. She's been outstanding for UL Bohs. O'Dwyer making great yards there as she goes. Blackrock, it seems, have elected to leave the rucks in certain areas of the field. O'Halloran doesn't find hands. She finds Allen, clears up to Evo Flynn. Bohs losing yards there. Going to need another hard carry, but it's a knock on from O'Dwyer as the referee has a little glance at her watch. We will restart the game with a scrum, but you can feel the tension on both sides.
It was good from both sides. I think Blackrock were smart with their defence in that they left that ruck alone. They decided to fan out and get strong, get good line speed and force Bohs back, which is what they did. Bohs had good patience there with moving the ball from this wing right here in front of us all the way to the opposite wing. Just coming back off that touchline, unlucky. Like it's these moments that make or break games, and I suppose the top teams capitalise on those opportunities that they have, and unfortunately for Bohs, it's after creating an opportunity for Blackrock here on the halfway line with very little time left.
Enya Breen standing directly behind the scrum as Tatum Bird feeds. The ball is at the hands, the feet rather, of Hannah O'Connor, and again such a strong fend. O'Connor getting yards, invaluable yards at this late stage of the semi-final here in Stradbrook. 13 points to 8 to Blackrock. The ball adjudged to have gone backwards. I think it's a fair call from the referee. And Rock move it to Jackie Shields. She looks at the referee, and that's full time here in Stradbrook in the Women's Energia All-Ireland League semi-final. Blackrock winning the game 13 points to 8. Eimear Considine, a gallant performance from UL Bohs, but Blackrock full value for the win ahead of next week's final.
Yeah, I think Blackrock might have underestimated Bohs coming into this game. They definitely had their homework done in relation to the lineouts and the set piece, but some turnaround, you really have to look at the valiant effort that Bohs gave. Like in round 5, Blackrock beat Bohs 63-7.
Yeah.
Two completely contrasting games, and although the scoreboard might not look like it, in that it's a low scoring game compared to the rest of the games with Blackrock this year, you can't, I suppose, there was no lack of skill, there was no lack of effort, there was no lack of tackling, of structures. You can see the work that both teams have done, and you can see the importance that this club period has been for the clubs, for the development, for the cohesion of strategies and structures to be able to focus on club alone. But Bohs can go away from today with their heads absolutely held high, that they gave it their all. They, it could have gone it's a matter of a missed pass or a drop ball or a missed tackle. It's those little inches in the game that I suppose determine who's the best team, and it's those moments that games are won and lost. And Blackrock will be probably relieved after that they got away. Anything that they did in the first half, second half, Bohs did the exact same. They got the penalty early, Bohs converted their own penalty. They got the try, Bohs answered it back. I said it before the game, Bohs are a hard team to get rid of. They have a history steeped in women's rugby and AILs, and they don't win that many of them for nothing. They come with passion and pride, and you could see every single bit of that today, from number 1 to number 23 and all the subs that came on. They'll be disappointed, but they can walk away today with their heads held high.
Very well said. The Blackrock scorers today were Maeve Deely and Michelle Claffey, and Maeve Deely with a penalty there that sees Blackrock. Claffey leading by example and stepping up when needed as captain. Full time in the conference semi-final, Wicklow were 46 points to 12 winners over Ballincollig. Wicklow with a big win there, but Eimear, from Blackrock's point of view, not a picture-perfect performance, but they won't really care as they're in a final.
No, it wasn't. And like I said, today wasn't going to be about, good rugby. It essentially didn't matter what has been done for the last 8 rounds. It was about winning and losing today. And Ben Martin spoke about that before the game. He said it was, the result is all that mattered. And it is all that mattered. It will be it'll be difficult. It'll be a difficult week for them after that. It wasn't easy on the bodies. Heading into whoever they face next weekend in the AIL final, but they'll probably be disappointed with some elements, a good bit of work to do on that, but that game will stand them. That tough game will stand them. Like I said, they didn't have very many tough games in the lead up to this game, probably 2 out of the 9 rounds that they played, so it will definitely stand them heading into that final. And do we know their opposition?
We are awaiting, as our studio are working around the clock to get that, but while they are, we can bring you full time from Limerick in round 8 of the Energia All-Ireland League Men's Division 1A. Young Munsters with a 32 points to 3 win over Shannon on the main pitch in Thomond Park. Michael Cook with a sole penalty for Shannon. Young Munster scores. Evan Cusack with the penalty in 2 conversions. Donegal Callahan, Connor Phillips, Dan Walsh and Connor Hayes on the score sheet to secure a bonus point win for Young Munsters. Eimear, if we come back to today's game, we're looking at a circle where Niamh Briggs is addressing her side. No doubt she's extremely proud of them, but to reference the points you mentioned earlier, 63 points to 5 6 weeks ago. She's a very, very proud individual, and she'll be disappointed that they've lost, but they've made massive strides in these last number of weeks.
They have, and from chatting to Briggsy before the game, not only have the players made strides, the management have made strides, they've learned, they've got better, they've had 5 wins in the bounce coming into this game, and it will only benefit Bohs going forward that we can see. People wrote them off before this, in the last few weeks. It was, will it be Setonians, will it be Galwegians, will it be Wicklow in that 4th spot place, and they quietened all of those people they quietened the doubters, and Bohs are never easily rid of. She'll be very proud of her squad here today, and it does look, there's a lot of young players coming through. We can see that, and it's good for the future of the club. They have 2 teams there. She said there's 40 to 50 players at training every week. Last week they had a family day, which just showed the culture and the environment in UL Bohs, and that's only going to get stronger. And this type of a loss will bring them together. It will knit them together, and it will make them stronger for next year to come back with a vengeance.
As we said, in the conference semi-final, Wicklow were 46 points to 12 winners over Ballincollig. Wicklow at home in Ashtown Lane in a conference final, Eimear. What an opportunity for silverware for a new AIL side next weekend.
Wicklow have been, I suppose, the talk of the season. I know there's, they're not top of the table, but they've definitely been the talk of the season in relation to just their growth in a year. They set targets at the start of the year, and they've absolutely surpassed those targets. I was down there a couple of weeks ago, and I saw the work that's been done underage with the under 14s, 16s, and 18s, and a lot of their 18s players have made Leinster squads, have jumped into that senior rank and playing on that senior team, and they've they've succeeded so much quicker than they even thought themselves. So it's fantastic to see, and the future is so bright down in Wicklow. I was so impressed with them and the quality of coaching and the enthusiasm of the girls, and definitely are a force to be reckoned with for the future. If they've made these strides in 2 years, let's just see what the next few years brings for Wicklow Rugby.
On a knife edge in the other conference semi-final, Galwegians going ahead 15-10 through Nicole Frawley with 2 minutes to go. And the full time from Railway, stunning comeback. They were 19-17 down at half time, a 34 points to 19 win. So Blackrock College's opponents confirmed next Friday night at 7:45 live on TG Carr. Blackrock will face reigning champions Railway in a repeat of last season's final. Eimear, the gift that keeps on giving, that is going to be a clash of the Titans.
It just shows Railway's experience, really. They've been in how many of the last Energia AIL finals. They are never dead. We know that ourselves as Bows players. Look, they have that experience of tight games. They've plenty of experience of it. Belvoir probably more under strength than Railway were today, from the girls that were missing from injuries and sevens. But look, Belvoir have had a good year, really good year. You know, last year they finished in 4th place, and will be really happy with the way that they played this year in the opening rounds with some new emerging talent. Like, they've had Dan O'Brien. Everyone's talking about Dana, but she changed the game at halftime when she came on against Bows in that opening round. And Emma Tilley, obviously missing Aoife Dalton today. Really new team on the Belvoir side of things, which is nice and vibrant, and it's good to see. I suppose those changes coming through. And look, this club rugby will stand to all those players heading into interpros, heading into internationals, and the experience that they've gained is going to be invaluable, whether it was a win or whether it was a loss. But Blackrock Railway next weekend, next Friday night, Blackrock will be out for a vengeance after last year.
And if I was to push you right now, 6-day turnaround for both teams, who's your favourites going into that game?
God, it's a tough one. I would have thought Blackrock, but they have a lot of probably work to. They'll be frustrated with their performance tonight, but Bows Row is a difficult team to play against, and I think Blackrock will probably be sore after that tough physical battle tonight with Bows. Oh my God, I can't call it. They'll kill me.
Well, you can hold your thought until that.
TG Carr on Friday night.
For Leganish Cormac, for any young girl that has been listening or watched today that's here ahead of the game next Friday night in the final between Railway and Blackrock and the conference final, what would your message be to anybody who's humming and hawing as to whether or not they should go to either of those games?
Oh, they're undoubtedly going to be fantastic games. We can see that the gap is closing between the games. The gap is closing between, I suppose, the conference and the rest. And it's fantastic. Even last year, it was a great spectacle where there was 2 really, really close games. Great skills on show, and I would not hesitate to go. And you see your Irish stars, your contracted Irish women, your future internationals in one place. It's an absolute opportunity to go and witness it firsthand. The skills that are on show, the work that's been done in the clubs around the country, ahead of a really exciting season for women's rugby in Ireland with the Interpros, the new Celtic Cup, and obviously ahead of that Six Nations, which is super important for that Irish women's team. Galwegians
will be the opponents for Wicklow in next Saturday's conference final in Ashtown Lane. They won a cracking game, 15 points to 10 against Setonians in Crowley Park. So to recap, UL Bows beaten here today 13 points to 8 by Blackrock, who advanced to the Energia All-Ireland League Women's Final. Next Friday night, a game live on TG Carr at 7:45, and Wicklow will play against Galwegians, as we said, in Ashtown Lane. The kick-off time there to be confirmed for next weekend. From me, Daragh Frawley and Eimear Considine, we'd like to thank you very much for tuning into this Club Scene podcast production co-produced by the IRFU. But before we go, we will head back to base to Ross O'Donoghue, who has a roundup.
Thanks, Daragh. We'll get straight into the league tables before we confirm those women's results. Starting at Energia All-Ireland League Men's Division 1A, where Terenure College extend their lead at the top of the table thanks to a 29-22 win over Cork Constitution. That ensures they'll be top of the table for the new year regardless of next week's result heading into the Christmas break. It's the first game of the season where they failed to notch a bonus point for tries scored. Cork Con stay in fourth and a playoff position. Clontarf meanwhile are back up to second place. That's thanks to their 23-21 win over Dublin University. In a tense Dublin derby, the students remain third. UCD have moved out of the relegation playoff spot and ahead of Lansdowne after beating their Dublin neighbours 27-26 in Belfield. That's despite Lansdowne picking up 2 points from today's game. Garryowen suffered a 28-10 defeat at home to Ballynahinch today. It means they'll spend Christmas in 10th position. Hinch played only 18 games last season, scoring 15 points. After 8 games this season, they've scored 20 and are comfortably mid-table. One other result to bring you from Division 1A. In the 5 o'clock kickoff, it finished Shannon 3, Young Munster 32. Moving to Men's Division 1B now, and the 5 o'clock kickoff there finished St Mary's 15, Old Wesley 10. Buccaneers still in swashbuckling form and still on top of the table after a bonus point 44-13 win over Banbridge. Banbridge stay 9th, Malone stay 10th. The Craigor Red Sox lost out 29-13 to an Old Belvedere side who are happy to move up the table. City of Armagh consolidated their second place spot with a fine 38-27 win over Naas. Naas scoring 27 but don't pick up the BP. And a Cork derby in 1B for the first time in a few seasons. It went the way of Highfield on a 29-10 score against UCC. Moving to Division 2A, Blackrock College still top. That's after their 17-14 win over Nina Ormond. Queen's University back up to second and leapfrog Cashel in the process. The students winning 38-31, but the Tipperary men picking up 2 points in Belfast. MU Barnhall a good day out, a 34-19 win at home to Dolphin. Navan keeping UL Bows bottom with a 15-0 win in Balreask and move up to 5th themselves. Old Crescent moving clear of the danger zone with a 32-14 win at home to Ballymena. In the Men's Division 2B, 5 games there, no movement in the table. Greystones remain top after a 35-7 win at Malahide. Galway Corinthians strengthened their grip on second after a 54-14 win at home to Belfast Harlequins. Dungannon losing out 21-28 at home. Sligo remain third. Rainey Old Boys edge out Enniscorthy 19-18 in Allcast Park to stay 6th. And a thriller in Marion Road sees Wanderers and Galwegians draw 31 apiece. Finally, in the men's divisions, Division 2C, Sundays well, well, they've dented Skerry's promotion hopes and given their own survival hopes a shot in the arm with a 24-21 win at Musgrave Park. As you'd expect with the Instonians at this stage, their 8th bonus point win in a row in 8 games. Middleton the wrong side of a 47-13 scoreline. Bonus points for both Bruff and Clonmel today, but it's Clonmel who win 30 points to 28 in Kilballion Park. Ballina beat Omagh 24-17, doesn't move them off the bottom, and Tullamore still second with a 23-15 win over Bangor. And just to confirm the results from the women's division today, really tight stuff in both of those semi-finals. Blackrock 13, UL Bohemian 8, as you'll have seen on our live stream. You'll recall the halftime score from Park Avenue was Railway Union 17, Old Belvedere 19. The second half all about the reigning champions, and they've come through on a 34 points to 19 scoreline. Wicklow looking good throughout against Ballincollig, up 29-0 at one stage. Ballincollig coming back into that game, but it is the Wicklow side into a conference final next week, winning by 46 points to 12. And a thriller in Crowley Park, really close between these two sides. It was a 28-0 win for Suttonians the last time they met in the conference last year's final. It's Galwegians this time around who have won out this one. A late score from Nicole Frawley giving them a 15 points to 10 win. That means there are just 4 teams left standing in the AIL Women's Division with 2 massive finals to look forward to for next weekend. Friday, December 9th, Energia Park with a 7:45 kickoff. You can look forward to Blackrock College versus Railway Union. Best place to be for that one is there on the spot, but a reminder that that game is going to be televised on TG Cahir. And the Women's Division Conference Final between Wicklow and Galwegians will take place on Saturday, December 10th in Ashtown Lane, and that will have a 5 o'clock kickoff on that. Big thanks to our team in Stradbrook, to Eimear Considine and to Daragh Frawley. Thanks to you all for being with us on this stream. We'll chat to you next week.